Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto was sent to the Marvel world. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was neglected by everyone that I post on this channel. And go ahead and enjoy that. I also post a new episode of What If Naruto was banished and gathered all the Jinjuri kids over on Anime King 2. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well guys. And later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was a deceitful god. So stay in here for that and I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails.
So, the last part we left off, Naruto and Speed were going to the planet to give Speed safe haven as Gog was captured by a team. As the leader of a team wanted to find Speed as he had the weapon, and he was also being helped by the Flaming Man, Uzumaki Naruto as they tortured the information out of Gog. As Naruto was currently in Kushina, that is what his ship is named, as him and Speed was in there until his ship was hit by a barrage of attacks, but the shields around Kushina kept it steady. As Naruto told Speed to fire back, but Speed could not use the gun really well, as he only managed to get one. As Naruto then reached out his hand as he used his metal control and ripped the other ship apart. Him and Speed then landed on a planet, as this were to get supplies and fluid and all that. As Naruto saw the group, Naruto quickly created a clone, as the clone grabbed onto Speed and vanished back to the ship. As the group attacked Naruto, as Naruto quickly showed them while he's no one to mess with, as he took care of all of them, beating them down. Some time passed as the commander of the group was called by his commander, as he asked him what the hell happened. As the reports saying that the Flaming Man was destroying their troops, it's making them look weak. As Atlas nodded after hearing from his commander. Some time passed as Naruto and Speed reached the planet Salverin. As they got there, they were apprehended by a bunch of soldiers as they were brought to the queen of the planet, as she was sitting on a royal golden seat, as she was mostly dressed in gold. As Naruto told her that she should respect the last word of Gog, the man who had helped her so much to get this one person to safe haven, as she accepted. As she told her soldiers to carry off Speed as he brought him somewhere. As she asked Naruto if she could see a bit of his power, as she heard stories about him. As Naruto released some of his chakra, that made all of the soldiers around him went to their knees, as she was impressed. As she told him she is currently looking for a suitable mate, as she asked Naruto to mate with her, but Naruto said no. As she seemed surprised, but he said no, he didn't want to do that, but she can ask him to help with other things, for bringing in Speed. As she just nodded and told him that he could leave now. As her maiden asked her if it was wise to let him leave like that, but she said she would rather have him as a friend than an enemy. After all, they see what he's capable of. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. We currently start this episode with Dizak, the God Slayer, as he had a cup of warm milk in his hand as he sit right in front of a church leader. As he was in a church, the rain was pouring outside, and the church leader invited him in. So, where are you from? The man asked. Zephyr, Dizak said. I see, the man said. You never told me your name, said Dizak. Well, you never asked for it, he said in a joking manner. As Dizak just gave him a blank look, as he decided to answer. I am Higo, he said. I am the head of this church here. Dizak said, with obvious disinterest as he took a sip of his drink. Are you a follower of a church or religion? Higo asked. Zack looked at him. No. Is this a culture or personal thing? Asked Higo. Most people in this region practice. But instead of answering, Zack asked something. Why has that corpse been left out there for so long? What makes you think that we have left that body out there? When I was coming here, the stench of blood and rotten flesh, to most mortal, it is very strong. And the body has been moved from where the blood splattered from. Well, I suppose there is no point in hiding it now, Higo said. We've been kept from dealing with it. Why? Zack asked. Because he was a man full of sin and malice. He took pleasure in other men. That is something we cannot condone, even in death. Zack raised an eyebrow. So because your religion forbids it, you allow that to keep you from burying a man who was obviously paid for his death. I do not make up the rules, and it's my duty to follow what my gods demand, the church leader said. What your gods demand? Zack said quietly. The church leader started to get defensive. And what would you know of what our God demands? You who said you have no church religions, so you have no God. As he took one last sip of his drink as he began his tale, as Zack turned fully towards the man. I used to be just like you. I used to be the head of my church, my village, praying to the god Chronic. I was a faithful follower. Then one day, Chronic demanded that he get the yearly sacrifice. Then it became monthly, then weekly, then daily. Before long, he demanded my own daughter as a sacrifice. And for the first time I questioned my faith, I debated with my wife, my friends, my community. All of them telling me that I must kill my only daughter because she's a sacrifice. In my uncertainty, I was visited by a being who called itself the Destiny. She offered me the gift of choice. Take the power and use it to slay my god and any other villagers that would be sacrificed for his amusement. But the others convinced me that I still must sacrifice my daughter. And I was so loyal to my faith. I did. But it wasn't enough. He still wanted sacrifices. He wanted everyone. That was when I was confronted again by the Destiny. Again, she gave me two options. Take her power and slay the ones that have wronged us, or be a good follower and die by the hands of Chronic. As he pulled out a necklace from his neck, showing a glowing gem. The choice was not difficult. I used the power trapped in this gem to become the man I am today. As the man looked at him. And who exactly are you? He asked Zack. I am the God Slayer, the annihilator of pantheons. Meanwhile, Speed sat in one of the various bars in the ghetto region of the city, as he was drenched as the rain had wet him coming here. As he was waiting on the bartender to give him his drink. As he got his drink, he was about to take a sip when someone sat down in the seat next to him. Looking over, he sighed. What are you doing in a place like this, Uzumaki? He asked, as he took a long sip of his golden drink. Naruto shrugged. I just turned in a queen or a priestess, whatever the hell she is. I need a drink, he said, as he raised his hand, getting the bartender attention. I'll have what he's having, he said. That's not what I meant, said Speed. You're in a gay bar. Look around. I didn't know that you swing that way. Maybe it makes sense, since you turned down that priestess. Even I thought that she was hot. Me gay? Yeah, you wish, Naruto said. No, me turning down the priestess was a bit of being there, done kind of thing. As far as hooking up with royalty goes, and it was mostly because you want to use me as breeding stock. I'm not really into doing that, to be honest, he said. Speed shook his head. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You're something else, Uzumaki. Thanks, Naruto said, as he took a sip of his drink. As he got up, the main reason I came here to find you. I'm heading towards Zephyr, he said. I'm gonna see what I can do there. I would say it was fun, but that would be a complete lie. See you later, Speed Cater. Hope we never cross paths again, Naruto said. My wish as well, Speed said. As Speed sat there for several seconds. As he looked at the Hydra gun, as he pulled it out and looked at it. I am sorry, Gog, he said. It's all my fault that you died. Hey, nice gun. As Speed quickly pulled away the gun as he turned around. As the man behind him raised his hand, Don't worry. I was just looking at the gun, he said. Yeah, it doesn't work though, said Speed. Yeah, I figured. Those things are not built to last for long. A few decades maximum. You mind if I sit down, he asked Speed. Speed looked him up and down. Yeah, sure, why not? Thanks. As he sit down, by the way, name is Tag. The name is Speed, Speed said. So, what brings you to Sovereign, Speed asked Tag. No reason really, said Tag. Really? Most people come here to get away from the war, with it being the most neutral planet in the galaxy, Tad said. Speed put down his drink. Alright, what's your deal? What's with a whole bunch of questions? I'm just a guy here who wants to get a drink, get drunk and probably get laid. Is that too much to ask, Speed said. But you're here asking me this bunch of questions. Tad smirked. No, that's not too much to ask for at all. As a gleam appeared in his eye that caused Speed to blink. So, you're already drunk. So that leave the only getting laid part, right? As Speed smirked. And where exactly would I find a place like that to cross off that last item on the list? How about the alleyway out back? Seeing Speed smirk, Tad got up. Meet me outside in 2 minutes. With that, he paid for his drink as he made his way to the door. As Speed walked over to the bartender, as he got another drink and downed it in one quick thrust. As he placed down the glass. As he went outside, hey, you here? He heard something behind him as he turned, but nothing was there. As he started to look around, as he heard something behind him again, he quickly pulled on the Hydra gun as he turned around. As he saw it was a woman. She was a couple feet away from him. She was beautiful with flawless emerald skin and thick black hair with pink highlights. Around her body was a tight black bodysuit that showed off her features quite well, and weapons scattered around her. The woman didn't even bother to raise her hand, even though he had a Hydra gun in his hand. She just stared at him. As he started to take a step backwards, but he bumped into someone. As he turned to see it was another woman. As she was blue, with a darker blue, running down from her face like a stripe. Placed on top of her bald scalp was a piece of metal, with a matching piece running down her eye and the side of her head, giving her a cybertronic look. As she was wearing a dark purple bodysuit. Paying attention to the second woman was a big mistake, as the first woman closed the gap between them with incredible speed. As she quickly pulled out a metallic holster, as a blade flipped right out of it, as Speed cried out in pain, as his arm was ripped off, only leaving a stump. As his hand and Hydra gun fell to the ground, so did he as his knees hit the ground. He wasn't given enough time to feel the pain as he was grabbed by the throat. The second woman grabbed him and thrust him into the wall with so much force, it left a dent behind. As she kept on squeezing his throat, as the first woman spoke, Nebula, stop playing around and finish him already. We have our another target. Nebula turned her head. Don't you think I know that, sister? She said. As she then snapped Speed's neck like a twig. As she released the corpse. As she reached down and picked up the Hydra gun. Thunder boomed across the sky as Nebula and Gamora walked out of the alleyway. Meanwhile, Naruto looked around as he saw the bubbling place around him. The city was truly amazing after the storm subsided, as it was incredibly surprising how some of these societies were advanced compared to Earth. It's funny to think a good handful of people on the Earth doesn't even believe that universe with other life forces existed. I wish we had a camera to shove it in their faces when we get back, Kurama said. Yeah, I know right, said Naruto. As Naruto continued his walk, as people could easily recognize him, seeing that most of them here had golden skin, and he alone did not have it. As Naruto felt something. You feel it, don't you? Said Kurama. Yeah, Naruto said. It's two of them. One of them is spewing out killer intent like a faucet. It's pretty hard not to ignore, said Kurama. Naruto nodded as he slipped into one of the alleyways. As he stopped in the center, as he activated stage mode, as he checked for the kunai under his sleeve. As no one came out. I know that you guys are there. So, it's not really an ambush if I know. You can come out now, he said. As the one behind him jumped out. As he spun around and raised a kunai and blocked the blade that she used. As she had another in her other hand as she tried to tear right through his stomach, but Naruto grabbed her hand with his other, as he then raised his feet and kicked her right in the stomach, as she was sent flying back. Quickly turning around, he blocked another blade, but this one was stronger than the first one. As she twisted her hand out of his grip and slid her blade down, as a triumphant look was on her face, but it quickly disappeared as Naruto poofed away. Gamora and Nebula, the famed daughters of the Mad Titan. You know, it said a lot about a person, if even I know who you are. So what can I do for two of the greatest assassins in the galaxy? As he was just standing on one of the side of the buildings, looking down at both of them, has Thanos finally decided to send someone after the Uzumaki Naruto? Nebula narrowed her eyes at Naruto. I have never heard our father mention you, not even once, she said. As Gamora nodded her head in agreement. We're here because of the contract put on your head. That caught Naruto's attention. How much am I worth, he asked. As Gamora spoke, 20 million units. As that caused Naruto's ego to deflate. Seriously? That's how much I'm worth? Quite disappointing. Seeing that this was a waste of time, he was about to jump down and finish them, when Gamora spoke again. But it's 200 million if we bring in you and the thief. And we're already halfway there. As Naruto paused. So, Speed is dead, yes, Gamora said. As Naruto saw a small bit of regret on Gamora's face when she said yes. But Nebula, she didn't seem to care at all. She had a bloodthirsty grin on her face. I see, said Naruto. As he snapped his eyes towards Nebula. You're the worst, he said. That voice came from behind her. Her eyes went wide. But she couldn't get to turn around as a fist connected with her face. She was sent flying as she broke through a couple of stalls as she landed in another alleyway. She quickly jumped off as a foot smashed down where her face was. As she got to her feet, as barrage of punches and kicks came towards her, as she couldn't believe the ferocity, the speed and the strength behind these attacks. As she swiped, but Naruto ducked as her sword stuck in the wall, as he drive two fists forward, slamming into her nose and her jaw. As Naruto pulled back his fist, but Gamora jumped down as she drive her sword downwards, as she stabbed Naruto right in the shoulder, but he exploded in electricity that came over Gamora as she screamed out in pain. As Nebula then felt something grab her face. Before she knew it, her face was planted in the ground. Pure force Naruto sent her in. As Naruto jumped up and brought down his foot on Gamora's temple, as he knocked her straight into the floor, as the both of them were now down. You guys are pretty good, Naruto said. It's been a while since I fight anyone, and I must say I'm enjoying this battle. I can say the same, said Gamora as she pulled herself from the ground. As Nebula got up, I'm going to take great pleasure in ending your life, she said. You're welcome to try, Naruto said, as she dashed forward, as she started swinging her blade around like a crazy woman, as Naruto pulled out his kunai, blocking it. As blades clashing together was loud in the alleyway. As Naruto couldn't understand, as he delivered some blows to her as he snapped her elbows and all that. But they were just fixing, as he wondered how durable she was, as her body was fixing itself, as he jumped and delivered a spinning kick right to her stomach, as her body was sent slamming into a wall. She tried to pick herself up, but Naruto's already in front of her, his fist drawn back with a blue energy surrounding it, as he drive it down. Boom! Her body got sink into the wall, as Gamora was surprised. No one has ever defeated her sister like that so easily before. As she realized that Naruto wasn't finishing Nebula off while she was down. Why are you not going for the kill? Are you that noble? She asked. Do you want me to kill her? Naruto asked. Gamora rushed forward as she brought her sword down as Naruto blocked it with the kunai, as the both of them stared at each other. My father trained us to take every opportunity we could, to kill whenever the opening showed itself. Never show mercy, not even to your allies. It sounds like he's trying to make you into a living weapon, Naruto said, as he stared directly in her eyes, as the image of Haku flashed into his mind. That is exactly what we are, the children of Thanos, or the weapon of Thanos. We kill in his name. In our Lord's name, we have no prejudice, we have no fear, no hesitation. We are an extension of his will, Gamora said. Is that what you think of yourself? Some mindless tool, Naruto said as he stepped forward, as she was pushed back. Do you think you're just a stupid weapon? No one is just a weapon. You're your own person with your own desires and your ambition. She pulled back as she then started to swipe her blade at Naruto. You don't know anything. The things I've done. The things I will do. I don't deserve any better, she said. We are what our parents made us. But he isn't your father, is he? Naruto said, as he saw the shock look on her face. You want to know something about weapons? As she brought down her blade on him, as he catched it with his bare hand, as he snapped it. When a weapon breaks, it loses its usefulness. As he backhanded her away, as she was sent down to the ground. And that's exactly what's going to happen to you. One of these days he will break, and I cannot see a guy like Thanos keeping you around for too long. Is that the kind of life you want? To be killed the day that you're no longer a tool, when you become a burden, Naruto asked. Gamora listened to every word, as she then saw her sister move out of the hole and silently making her way up to Naruto. As she noticed Nebula, so did Naruto, as the grip on his kunai tightened as he added more wind chakra. Nebula! No! Gamora shouted as she was about to bring her dagger right into Naruto's neck, but this proved to be futile, as Naruto turned around and sliced off her arm, as she dropped to her knees in pain, as the pain was too much for her to bear, as she collapsed. He then looked at Gamora. I'm sorry about that, but this kind of thing has to be expected in this kind of work. Hopefully she doesn't hold a grudge. Look, I meant what I said. You don't have to be the daughter of Thanos. You can just be Gamora, he said, as he vanished in a body flicker. Meanwhile, the Zack looked down at Gog's body as he threw the piece of wood he had in his hand, as it had fire on top of it, as the body started to burn. May your travels through the other realm be lacking in hardship. May your next life be free of pain and suffering. May your time amongst the gods give you clarity, the Zack said, as he held onto the gem on his neck. Is that a prayer? As he didn't bother to turn around, he said, yes. The person just watched for a second. Have you seen a guy around here? His name is Higo. He runs the church. We were supposed to have a meeting, but he wasn't there. The Zack then spoke. He's dead. But what? The man behind him said. I murdered him, the Zack said, as the man behind him ran away to get the authorities. As the Zack got up, as he looked one last time at the burning corpse, as it was time for him to continue his search for the so-called Celestial. Time skip. 3 months later, the war was over between the Kree and the Xandarian. As a man on a teleprompter was speaking, the progress was made thanks to the outside interference of a man who the people are calling the Celestial. The manpower proved to be something to make them settle down, as footage was showed of a 9-tailed giant creature made out of golden flames destroyed a Kree ship with only one blast, and that was a very large ship. As it was another footage of the man decimating all Kree soldiers that get in his way, as he was covered in flames. As it was thanks to him killing the Kree management for the other Kree members to come to the talk and have the agreement between them and Xandar, and that gave them time to sign the treaty, and it was finally signed. As the man locked off the TV, he got up from his bed as a beautiful Sandoran woman was sleeping on it, as he made his way up to the upper deck of his ship, as he shut off the autopilot and he sit down in the captain's seat. As a call then came into his right, he sighed, but he answered anyway. He wasn't allowed to say a word as a person spoke. You there yet, boy? Yeah, Yondu, I'm here. I'm about to land now, he said. Good, Yondu said, a big smile on his face. Now stay there and wait for us. We will be there in an hour. Well, you see, Yondu, I figure I will go out and scout it, but Yondu cut off the call. Area, the pilot said, finishing his sentence, as he sighed. As he quickly flew the ship down as he leaned back in his chair, waiting for Yondu. As he sat there rocking back. Screw this, he said as he got up. As he walked down into the lower deck. As he grabbed his blaster and his Walkman. As he looked for his trench coat, he then saw that the woman was using it as a blanket. Walking over to her, he tried to pull it away from her, but she woke up. Peter, she said. As she looked to see he was trying to take the cloak from her. "Well, what's going on?" she asked. "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm on, as he stuttered. "Oh, I'm trying to get her some breakfast. But you see, it's raining. So, I need my coat." "Oh," she said, "let me get dressed so I can go with—" "No," Peter said. "No, I mean, you stay in bed. You look exhausted." "Oh, well, okay. Don't take too long," the woman said. As he gave a thumbs up, "I'll be back in a sec." As he took the coat and put it on. As he went to the door, he then pressed on his earpiece as a helmet started to form around his head. The helmet was silver with golden highlights, as it had a breathing part at the mouth, making him breathe in place where oxygen wasn't. "Welcome to Mori," he said. Time skip. 3 weeks later, Naruto walked into a temple that was completely destroyed, as the roof was being held up by the 4 pillars, as he saw all type of things growing on the walls. "Well, this is it," Naruto said. "And where is this exactly?" asked Kurama. "Kurama, you need to stop taking these long naps. I am tired of explaining my adventures midway through." As a strange rat ran up to him, but he kicked it away. What the hell was that, he thought. "Hey, it's not my fault that all I have to do is sit here and watch you. Sometime I nap. You haven't let me out in months," Kurama said. "That was during a fight. I can't just let you out willy-nilly. You're a walking, talking natural disaster." "You made that sound like a bad thing," Kurama said, as Naruto jumped over a giant hole. "And that's a problem," Naruto said. "And this is a place that Gog told us about. The powerful object on the planet Mori." "And we're looking for this powerful object, why?" Kurama asked. "Because this is the only lead we have at the moment that I actually want to follow. It is this, or go to Earth, or find somewhere in the 9 realms that have the other stone, or go and fight Thanos for his. Now, can we please continue this little quest of ours?" "Whatever," Kurama said aside. "This better be interesting though, or I'm gonna be pissed." As Naruto came up on the temple, as he saw the massive door open, as he stepped inside, in there was rather dark. The only light being a crack on the wall, that shining light. Naruto held up his hand as it became enveloped in a golden flame, as he could now see better. As he saw a containment cube. As he looked at it, but it was disabled. Whatever was here was gone. "Damn it," he cursed. He was about to leave when he heard people running up behind him. As he turned to see soldiers, the insectoid man had all of their guns pointing towards Naruto. "Hold it," the leader said. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "I could ask you guys the same thing," Naruto said. "Have you guys seen an object that holds a lot of power around here?" As they looked amongst themselves, as the leader looked at them as he hesitated for a second. "What do you know about the orb?" he asked. "The orb? So that's what you call it. Well, all I know is that it's supposed to be here. Where is it?" Naruto asked. The leader didn't say anything until the man on his left spoke. "Korath told us to kill everyone who came here, remember?" "I do," he said as he raised his rifle up as he pointed at Naruto's forehead. He wasn't allowed to pull the trigger though, as Naruto appeared in front of him and grabbed his throat and squeezed it rather tight, as he delivered a brutal kick into the other man's side, as he then vanished as the others blast their guns. As he looked around confused, fire style, "Great fire annihilation," Naruto said, as a wall of fire rained down on them, incinerating them, as Naruto was still holding on to the leader. As Naruto set the man down a distance away, "This interesting yet?" he asked Kurama. "It's getting there," Kurama said, a shrug, as Naruto poured earth chakra into the ground, as it formed cuff and shackles around the man's wrists and ankles. As Naruto took off the man's helmet and placed a finger on his forehead, as he jolted him in a small amount of lightning that woke him up. The man tried to get up, but he couldn't, as he looked at the cuffs. He then glared at Naruto. "What do you want?" he asked. "Just tell me what that orb is, who has it, and who do you work for?" Naruto asked. "And if I don't?" he asked. "Simple," said Naruto, as the soldier saw a massive 9-tailed fox ripping him apart and tearing his body to pieces. The sight of buildings burning, his loved ones lying dead on the floor, and the blonde man standing there with blood coating all over him. He saw planets imploding on themselves. The universe was being ripped apart. And just like that, as it came, it went. Who are you?" the man said, stuttering hard. "That depends on your answer, so what will it be?" As the soldier didn't hesitate, He told Naruto everything you want to know. Timeskip, Naruto sitting in his ship, as he remembered what the soldier told him. He hadn't been informed on what the orb was. He was just instructed to get it for their employer. As far as who took the orb, all he knew was a guy in Ravager group. He was from a different one that Naruto knew, as he called himself Star Lord. Really, the only good information he got was that he was working for Ronin, the accuser, as Naruto was planning on confronting the accuser soon, as he heard about the tantrum he has been throwing since the past few months. As he could get the orb, this thing that Thanos was interested in, and he could also take on Ronin, who was in the middle of all of this. As he thought only one person could tell him about this Star-Lord, as he went through the contacts on his Yuta, as he called, as he waited. "Long time no see, Naruto," Terra said. "It sure has," Naruto said with a smirk. "How is the crew?" "Oh, you know, same shit as ever," she said. "Yeah, I figured," said Naruto. "So, what do you need?" she asked. "What make you think I need anything?" he asked. "Because you only ever call when you need something, that's what," she said. "Yeah, I'll make it up to you, I promise." "You promise, huh?" she said. "Hey, I never break my promise. So no, at some point in time I will be making it up to you," Naruto said, "and that's a promise. And this isn't even that big, what I'm asking right now. I just need to know if you ever heard of a particular Ravager," Naruto explained. Terra sighed. "There are thousands of Ravagers, Naruto. I doubt I will know who you're looking for." "Yeah, but this guy has a code name. Apparently he go by Star-Lord. Did you just say Star-Lord?" She cut him off. Yeah," said Naruto. "Yeah, I know him. He's one of Yondu's. His name is Peter Quill. They mostly go to Broker. You could start there," she said. "Wonderful," Naruto said. "I'm going there now. Next destination?" "Hey, wait," Terra said. "Yeah," Naruto said. "More than likely the idiots pull a fast one on Yondu, which means the blue bastard is currently going after them now. So, if you see him, give him a good punch in the face for me, okay?" And with that, Terra cut the link. Meanwhile, in the massive airship, the Dark Aster, as it could be only described by one word, massive. Even compared to other Kree airships, this one was on a whole different level, as the captain was currently sitting down, waiting for them to get their destination. Sir, we have news," Korath shouted as he entered the vast chambers. "One of our squads has been annihilated with only one survivor," Korath said, as he was a man, as he was dark brown, as he was half machine, with metal parts sticking out of him. Sitting on his throne was Ronin, the accuser himself. Sitting on his right was Nebula, as she was tweaking with her arm, and on his left was his massive war hammer. "This has ended a lot of Xandarian's life." "Bring him to me," Ronin said, as the man that Naruto got the information from came in the room. As he bowed, "My lord," he said. "Who was it that attacked you?" Ronin asked, his voice holding a dangerous edge to it. "His name I do not know, but he was powerful, my sir. He was extremely fast, strong, and he could breathe fire." "This sounds like the Celestial," Ronin said, as Nebula head shot up, as he picked up his hammer and walked over to the soldier. "And how is it that you survived an encounter with that man?" "He told me to give you a message," as he reached into a pouch, as he pulled out something. It was a paper, as Ronin grabbed the paper and unfolded it, as he looked at the paper for a second, as he growled in anger, as he crumbled the paper into like a ball, as he threw it aside. "What did it say?" Nebula asked. "It was nothing," Ronin said. "It was gibberish." "So what now?" Korath asked. "This changes nothing. Once I receive the orb, Thanos will annihilate Xandar and its little hero. Not if I kill him first," Nebula said as she rubbed her shoulder. "Oh, I forgot about your little vendetta against him," said Ronin. "Rest assured you will have your chance with him," he said. Meanwhile, on the city of Xandor, Naruto walked out of his M ship as he stretched and cracked his muscles. As Naruto slapped his hand down on a seal on the ship, as a massive gust of wind appeared, as he used a wing technique and blow away the gusts. As the ship was gone, "Man, Fuin Jutsu is the best. No offense, Kurama." Some taking, Kurama mumbled. "You know you did that in front of everyone else, right?" Looking around, Naruto looked as he saw multiple people staring at him in shock most of them pointing at him and talking. As Naruto rubbed the back of his head, hey, he said, in a rather nervous voice, as he quickly went off. In a body flicker, as he saw the broker's building, as he quickly went down there. As Naruto entered and saw a broker was looking at something, his back was turned. As Naruto waited, as the time passed on, broker was still looking at that thing in his hand. As Naruto waited, after 3 minutes of waiting, Naruto coughed. Startled, broker nearly dropped the object, but he caught it again, as he then turned. As he was about to curse who, just interrupt him, but he paled when he saw Uzumaki. Hello Uzumaki. How may I help you today, he said, as he gently rests his thing in his hand on the counter. I just have a few questions for you, Naruto said. That's all. Well, what kind of questions, broker asked? You know, the Ravenger kind, Naruto said. As broker quickly rushed over to the door, as he locked it. You should know better to talk about such things when you're in broad daylight with the door open. And you should know better than to leave the door open when you do this kind of business, Naruto said. An open door showed that I have nothing to hide. Nova Corps is already looking into my business transactions. I can't have them thinking that I look suspicious. Yeah, sure, Naruto said as he rolled his eyes. I just need to know if you done business with a guy named Star-Lord. Star-Lord? Nah, I never go work with a man who's going by such a ridiculous name. His real name is Peter Quill, Naruto said. As broker got nervous instantly as he tried to walk by Naruto to get behind the counter. I'm sorry, he stuttered. I never worked with a man named Peter Quill either, he said. Oh really? That is not what Terra told me. He said that you work with him and his captain quite a bit. Why are you lying to me, broker? I am doing no such thing. Surely, Miss Terra is mistaken. I have never worked with someone in my life named that way. Look man, I can tell you're lying by just looking at you, Naruto said. No, just tell me if he came in near the orb-like object so I can go about my day. I don't know, broker said. Naruto walked over as he opened a case with a golden object inside. As he pulled it out, I'm going to ask again. Do you know Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord? Please no, broker begged. That is worth over 3 million units. It's the last of its kind. And I'm going to break it if you don't tell me what I want to know. 3, 2. I had nothing to do with the orb, broker screamed. You have to believe me, I canceled my transaction with Quinn as soon as I discovered who your boss was. I swear. My boss, said Naruto. Yes, broker said. You're working with the accuser, aren't you? He asked. You think I'm working with Ronan the accuser? As broker nodded, as Naruto rubbed beside his face. No, I'm not, my guy. You're not? Broker said. No, Naruto said. Oh, broker said. What the hell gave you that idea? I don't know, I just assumed, he said. Do you know where Quinn have gone after you kicked him out? Well, he got picked up by the Nova Corps a couple of weeks ago. A few minutes after our meeting. I don't know what for though. Damn it, Naruto said. As he vanished. As the golden object fell to the ground. As broker jumped forward. As he caught it. As he released a sigh. As he put it back in the box. That damn blonde, he muttered as he went back round. But guys, we'll be ending this episode right here. If you want the next part of this or know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends and social media platform. But for now guys, I'm out for now. Peace.